Hello, everybody. Just a few minutes late today. A good reminder is that when you are going live, make sure that you have shut down another platform. So I'm all here and I am live in the Facebook group. Hello, thanks for joining us. And I'm also live on the YouTube channel. So wonderful to have you here. Just give me a moment. Let me just reorient. Beautiful. So I can see comments as they come in. That's what's beautiful. I think I'm getting better and better. So please, if you have a comment or a question, go ahead and post it. Please go ahead and post your name and where you're tuning in from. That's always wonderful. I am able to respond to all comments. Even if you're watching the replay, please go ahead and type in replay, pound replay, and any questions that come up that I may not have addressed today. All right, so we are ready to go. So my name, some of you are new to this channel, new to this broadcast, new to the group. I'm Christina Sergun Powers. I'm a certified clinical Ayurvedic specialist. I'm formerly a career educator over 20 years, probably I think 22 is the final count. I bring the art of teaching from my this career with the wisdom and experience of my study in Ayurveda and my clinical Ayurvedic practice. I bring that to this journey, and I bring that to this experience that we're going to talk about today. My journey, my own personal journey of healing through Ayurveda, it began in 2018. Some of you know, but some of you who are new to me may not know that I was diagnosed with diverticulitis and IBS symptoms. So this put me on the path of discovering Ayurveda. I had heard about Ayurveda different places in my life, through my yoga practice, through different friends, but this is where it really seemed the light bulb go off and said, this is the time that this needs to be integrated into your life. So it helped my body heal. Dramatically, exponentially changing my life in ways that I couldn't imagine, my career, my health. And then my path, it was clear to me that I needed to shift my teaching over into Ayurveda and dive deeper into this practice. So currently I work with clients in one-on-one and in group situations. I have a group right now that focuses on weight loss. And today I'm going to talk to you about the group for cleansing, seasonal cleansing. So some of the conditions that show up for people when they work with me that they're trying to reduce, eradicate, clear, to heal from, they may be assortments of conditions like IBS, diverticulitis, celiacs, insomnia, sleep disturbances, inflammation, diseases and symptoms, weight gain or weight loss, hormonal imbalances related to perimenopause and menopause-related symptoms. So some of this may speak to you. It may be regular daily imbalances that you're experiencing through the digestive system, through the elimination system, through mood swing patterns, through different mental expressions, whether we get tired and we feel lethargic or we feel like we are completely burned out. Those are kind of the regular daily messages that our body is sending us to let us know there is a system overload. And if we don't do something with cleansing and clearing practice, cleansing the body, clearing those particular toxins, and that's exactly what they are. We'll talk about that, how to identify it. Then we're going to move into the stage of symptoms, where we will start exactly feeling some of those symptoms I was talking about, where people eventually go to a medical doctor or they come to me. But if we want to pay attention to those what we call them pre-symptom messages that our body sends us, and we have a regular cleansing practice, then we can circumvent our body from going into those full-blown symptoms. So please go ahead, post a comment if you have any question from today's broadcast. And like I said, I will respond to everyone. I am doing weekly lives. It seems like this might be the right time, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to be notified, if you're on my YouTube channel, if you'd like just to be notified, just select that bell and you'll get a notification whenever I go live, and you can choose to watch the replay if that live time isn't good for you. Please share this information today with anyone so that you think might benefit, so I can have a wider audience and get to those people who this really might benefit. And here we go. We're going to talk about this Ayurvedic seasonal deep cleansing. This is called, last week I started, this is kind of like part 2. This is a group, it's going to be a Panchakarma cleanse for summer season. And last week we talked about what that means. So Panchakarma is 5 actions. It's a deep cleanse, and this is the best one for summer to clear out that excess heat that has built up in the body and the mind. Physically, mentally, emotionally, how this shows up. And that's what we're clearing, all of those buildup that will show up mentally, physically, emotionally. If you want to see that replay, I think you can just go ahead on the YouTube channel, just hit the back to the previous broadcast. I'm going to go ahead and post in the comments. So if you want to see the replay and in the group, I also have it listed in the announcements and in the guide section of our Facebook group, which is Ayurveda and Kundalini Yoga, how to transform through those practices. Okay, I'm just reading my notes, making sure I don't miss anything. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so I did have a lot of follow-up questions from last week's broadcast, and those are the things that I'm going to share with you today, and a little bit more information that I think helps those who've never experienced it. So when I work one-on-one with clients, I don't throw everybody into a deep seasonal cleanse. The whole process is a cleansing. Our body is designed and engineered for everyday cleansing. And that's what begins to happen is our body's elimination systems, our natural elimination systems begin to get clogged up. So it's through our daily elimination and our sweat channels. And when we have lifestyle behaviors and habits, it becomes clogged. And these very vital waste elimination, tox elimination systems, they can get backed up. And it begins to collect. It doesn't just kind of hang around enough. It collects the weakest tissue systems, the weakest organ systems. And this is where we can have system and disease manifestation, is because it has a high collection of toxins. And it shows up differently for different bodies. So just because you're eating one particular type of food or you're doing one particular type of activity, those general types of symptoms and causes that come up from, in the health field or the medical field from doing something, that's a generalization. That means you have a higher chance of getting those symptoms, but you possibly have a chance of getting none of those symptoms. It depends on what is out of balance in your particular body and what your particular experience is. And that's why an Ayurvedic practitioner will go deeper and look at what your lifestyle patterns, what is showing up in your history and in your patterns. So what it can look like, what these symptoms can look like when you have a toxic buildup from not having regular cleansing. It feels like you might have heartburn. You might experience acid reflux. You might experience nausea, lack of appetite. These messages, toxins are collecting in the body, and they're not processing and absorbing our nutrients. Our regular elimination system, daily elimination, when the digestive process is working, that means our body is breaking down what we're eating. It's absorbing and it's delivering to every single cell, every single tissue, every single organ system in our body, the appropriate amount of nutrients for that system to build itself, cleanse itself, and to be strong. And that comes from our small intestine, the gallbladder, the liver, all of that is involved in that nutrient absorption and distribution system. And then we have the large intestine, which further absorbs the nutrients. And then it begins to build that elimination system, those things that the body would consider as waste. And when those two systems, and that's the whole digestive system, isn't working, then we have the toxic buildup. And so that's what these particular types of cleanses are. They cleanse and nourish, but not just the digestive system. This type of cleanse that we're talking about today, it goes deeper into the deeper tissues where these toxins have been hanging out for quite a while, and pulls them, draws them into the digestive system for elimination, for a purging elimination. And that's the action. That's the Panchakarma action. So remember that pancha is 5, it's karma, it's action, so it's the cleansing that is from the 5 Ayurvedic actions. So from an Ayurvedic perspective, well, let me just step back. I just want to tell like a little personal experience. So I just had my 58th birthday. That was this past Friday, May 31st. And to me, holidays, special occasions, birthdays, they're filled with wonderful, wonderful assortments of foods that we don't normally eat. Hopefully, that's not what we're eating every single day as part of our diet. When we do, that's when the toxic buildup can happen. And then once we go and we're experiencing this toxic buildup of foods, if we're eating excessively or having excessive amounts of those types of foods on a daily basis, then what we will experience is possibly indigestion, constipation, diarrhea, headaches, body aches, mood swings, weight gain. And when we look at from an Ayurvedic perspective and we learn how to cleanse the body, nourish all 5 senses, so that the whole body, the whole mind is operating, and we have this emotional balance, we have discernment, we can choose, we have clarity when we need to make an immediate decision. We know that listening to the body when we can take in something that is bringing us health, vitality, energy, as opposed to taking in something that's going to further cause us to go into feeling low energy, and the symptoms start popping up. So we can learn how to relax, and we understand that our body is in a state of relax. A lot of people, when they're out of balance, their whole system is clogged up. That doesn't allow the body to rest and digest. That's what digestive process is. So it not only has the digestive system backed up, it has our full sleep cycle system backed up. So we're experiencing indigestion because the body can't go into rest mode, the parasympathetic nervous system. And therefore, as we move into the sleep cycle is disturbed. We can't go into the rest and digest mode, which is when our whole system cleanses. Our natural cleansing system begins to take over during the nighttime. And if the mind is awake, if the body is awake and agitated, the liver, the gallbladder, the small intestine, when they start doing their work of their cleansing process, the parasympathetic nervous system is shut down, and the sympathetic nervous system, the active thinking mind, the moving of the body, is turned on, and the cleansing, the body's natural daily cleansing system is not working. So when we have our regular daily cleansing pattern is working. We have a seasonal cleansing pattern where we're deep doing some deeper cleansing. We can begin to enjoy our lives. So it doesn't mean that we don't have stress and pressure around us. It means that we have the ability to navigate that which in our lives is pushing us into that state of imbalance. So we're more mentally flexible, we're more physically, emotionally flexible, and we don't have that rigidity, we don't have that hardness, we're not weighted down by physical, mental, and emotional toxins. Because when we're talking about a deep cleanse, we're not just talking about cleansing the stomach and the digestive tract. We're talking about a deeper cleanse, and that goes right into the nervous system. Nervous system is where those emotions, those imbalanced emotions hang out, that we might be pushed and triggered by on great amount of stress that we experience daily. So if you're thinking, is this cleanse for me? So this cleanse, if you are ready, if you really know that you're ready for a full mind-body reset, you may be experiencing physical symptoms like bloating, could be heartburn, constipation, diarrhea, acid in burning, indigestion. You might have no appetite, low appetite. I'm going to talk about what that means too. Brain fog, fuzziness in the brain, mental is not cleared throughout the day. You might have regular general body aches and pains, and unprocessed emotions. So I want to just remind you that this is a cleanse that we're talking about. It's not a do-it-yourself. I'm not going to give you the tips of how to do it and send you on your way. This really needs to be led by a clinical Ayurvedic specialist or an Ayurvedic doctor. So information today is to help you determine if you are ready and you want to register for my group cleanse experience, which begins July 13th. So I want to start out, again, post any comments or questions. I can see the questions immediately, and I can respond to them immediately if you're listening. So depending on, so here's a question that came in from the last week's broadcast when we were talking about what is an Ayurvedic cleanse. So this is Stephen in San Francisco. He says, I feel dried out when I do cleanses. Why is that? This state of the skin, everything being dry. That's a great question. So depending on the type of cleanse, and I'm thinking juicing, or maybe, it's very water-based cleanse. Juicing greens, apples, berries. In Ayurveda, there are 6 primary tastes, and bitters and astringents. That's what greens and fruits fall into. So leafy greens are the category of bitters, the coldest category, and it is very drying to the internal system. Citrus, apples, berries are the most astringent and the most drying category. Now, there's nothing to say, is this good or is this bad, but it's what causes that drying. And so there are certain bodies, that's why we look at a food list depending on what your body is experiencing. There are certain bodies that are already out of balance with dryness within the tissues and showing up on the skin, showing up in the mouth, the eyes, and nose. And coldness. They might be feeling numbness in the hands and the feet, no matter what the temperature is. So moving and doing a juicing cleanse is going to exacerbate that condition even more, and possibly send the system, the whole body system, into more toward disease manifestation. What those types of drying diseases, what the outcomes are. So the best season for a juicing cleanse is spring. We are just coming to the tail end of it. But there are certain conditions of the body. If the body has excess fluid, if the body has excess tissue, the more kapha-like body types are the best to experience the juicing. Those body types that are more on the vata or pitta imbalance, where they have more coldness, more dryness, more smaller frame. The mind might be a little bit more aggravated, moving into frustration or possible worry, overwhelm. That, simplistic type of category would not be the best to do that juicing type of cleanse. But the spring is the primary for that. Summer, as we're moving into summer, and that's the deep cleanse that I will be leading with this group, Ayurvedic deep group cleanse. That is to clear out the heat, the excess heat. So if we're clearing out heat can aggravate a drying condition. We would have bitters, we would have astringents, but we would want to pay attention to it not being excessively astringent, which can cause the drying, and that's with excess heat. That's the condition that we will experience. So bitters are very good when we're working with heat, so it has that cooling quality. But excess, again, when we have someone who has had an excess dry condition already, we call it, can push it into dual dosha, so it creates this imbalance with a vata imbalance. And so that can present itself as loss of appetite, constipation, headaches, body aches, general body aches, numbness in the feet or hands, like I mentioned, regardless, and coldness in the feet or hands, regardless if the temperature is hot. Sleep disturbances, they can feel overwhelmed easily, worry, fear, doubts, anxiety, panic attacks can pop up. And so this is why it's important why Ayurveda is really good for kind of looking at the individual and determining, do we want to have less of a particular taste or more of a particular taste? And as I lead this group through this Ayurvedic cleanse this summer, that's what we're going to learn how to do. I'm going to teach the members how to determine if they need to have a little bit more of an astringent taste or a little bit more of a bitter taste, or less if that's the condition that we don't want. We want to make sure we're not exacerbating. So for this cleanse, we're going to pay attention to the summer, the pitta season, balancing vegetables and fruits that nourish the body rather than depleting it. So, and the fruits are going to be more on the part of the cleanse where we're integrating. We won't really be using fruits during that action week. So this is going to restart the body. It restarts the natural elimination cleansing system. And then a little bit further to continue with Stephen's question. So what I like to recommend to combat that dryness, because during the heat season, during pitta season, summer season, that's when the dryness can really become exacerbated for some of us. So a therapy that I recommend while we're doing this cleanse is sipping hot water with a pinch of, so in, let's say, 8 ounces of hot water, a pinch of salt, and which is less than 1/8 of a teaspoon, and sea salt, and diluting it and then sipping it every 20 minutes, the best we can, as much as possible. I sometimes recommend putting a little sipping timer, so it's 1 or 2 sips. It's not gulping. This technique allows the body to absorb and rehydrate all the way into the deep tissues, every cell. Rather than water is a natural cleansing action, natural purifier. And so when we have someone who has excessive dry conditions, drinking more water is only purifying and creating a more dry situation. So this salt, when it's at the right ratio, it brings in the absorption quality for water. So that's cell rehydration, and we will be doing that during the cleanse. All right. Just looking for comments. Livy in Indiana asks, how soon can I start eating normal foods? Again, excellent question. So when in this process that I'm going to be taking the group through, a deep Ayurvedic cleanse for summer season, Samsarjana Krama is the week, that's the Sanskrit term for the week after the cleansing action. So there's we're going to have a week of preparation, getting used to the foods that will keep you in balance. And then we're going to have the week of all of the actions leading up to the one day where we're going to have the purge action. So the whole mono diet that I talked about last week, and opening up the sweat channels, and several Ayurvedic practices that we'll learn about nourishing the skin so that the skin can be, those sweat channels can be opened up. And then the 8th day of that, the day of the week, is cleansing action. And that's one morning between 1 to 3 hours for that cleansing, purging action. And then the rest of the week, which is the most important part, is beginning to integrate this newly, it's the most critical part of the cleanse. Oftentimes people will finish a cleanse and go, I did 10 days, I did 7, I did 14 days. And they're excited to go jump back into eating the regular foods that they kind of push them out of balance initially. So if we suddenly start putting foods and liquids into our body after going through a cleanse experience, our digestive system is not ready, and we can have even worse reverse action from that process. So it's critical. That last week is very critical, that integration week, to bring the body basically back online. So if you want to talk about, let's say, a computer analogy, we're turning off the programs and we're bringing it down. We're turning the system down, and we are allowing the nutrients to absorb because we've turned the digestive system way down. We're eating very highly, easily digestible foods, so the system can be turned way down to rest and reset. And then we're going to bring it back online. And we're going to do this with different digestive herbs and spices to get the system going. And then also coupled with very limiting, so to speak. It's going to be like rice, very soupy rice recipes. I have 3 different recipes over the span of 1 to 2 days that people will be experiencing to get the system back online. And if you did a really good job of tuning into your body and you feel like you're really listening to the body is going to tell us, I don't need to have these other things that I thought I was craving or doing that were pushing me out of balance. The body suddenly feels very balanced. It feels strong. It feels clear. And we don't have the tendency to go back into our old habits and behavior after a particular cleanse like this. But that's why it's important to have a practitioner or have a group experience so that we can help and support and usher each other through this experience. So it can create some challenges mentally. People may want to return to those old foods, those habits quickly. But with that support system and tuning into the body and learning different practices that help us tune into the body, it's going to be an amazingly reset experience where we won't want to go back to some of those old habits, foods, and behaviors that were pushing us out of balance. So when we have that regular seasonal practice, when we have and our daily practice, our daily natural elimination practice is operating optimally. And we have a regular sense cleansing. We're cleansing the eyes, the ears, the nose, all of the five senses that we have to take in our whole life and build our life experiences. Then our body and mind patterns, we begin to feel good, happy. We have clear thoughts. We enjoy our holidays, our birthdays, our festive occasions, and all of the experiences and foods that they bring without those feelings of stress and fear that can pop up around those occasions. All right, so I'm getting to the end. I'm a little bit over time. I only wanted to go 20 minutes, so just bear with me. I just want to tell you about the cleanse opportunity. So our group cleanse begins July 13. It'll be 5 sessions. Every Saturday we meet beginning July 13. It'll be live in my Zoom room, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 12 noon. All sessions will be recorded, so in case you can't make one, you will have the recordings available to you. All materials are included in the price. The materials are valued at $135, and so those are 2 formulas, oils, and some supplies for the cleanse. You will be purchasing the ingredients for the recipes, and that'll be one of our sessions. Will go deep into the recipes and how to prepare them and where to buy the ingredients, either online easily and very reputable companies, which I use personally, if you can't find them locally. Early registration started June 1st, so the total is $535. That's $135 value for the materials and $400 for the class for that early registration. The regular price is $635 after the early bird. The bonus, if you're signing up now, is you will get 30 minutes of free consultation with me. The maximum group occupancy is 12, so 20, so that I can keep it in a more intimate experience. It is going to fill up. I'm collaborating with a Yoga Flow San Francisco yoga studios, and they are making it available to their teachers and students beginning June 1st. So if you're in my audience, in my group, and this is really speaking to you, please let me know, and I will send you the registration link right away. So if you still have questions, please post a comment, send me a direct message or an email. My email is info@yogaforbalance.online. I post that in the comment section. So if you're seeing the replay, you'll see it right there. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope this was valuable. Hopefully it was useful in your healing journey today. I wish you joy today, and even in those uncomfortable moments, spaces, and places of our lives. So have happiness, health, and wholeness. I'll see you next week.